I hope you're ready for the epic cold start. Here we go. Oh, man, that was just violent. Just violent. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. And yes, we bought a Massey. It is a Massey 8660. It's a 2013, 3,700 hours. And we've been planning for a couple years on upgrading tractors. We probably should have held off for another year, but a deal like this, you know, you keep picking through that haystack and sooner or later a needle falls out, and we found a needle. So it's got 5 hydraulics, all 3 PTOs, 540 and then small and big 1000. And the 5 hydraulics will be nice. So we've already got over 30 hours on it hauling wagons, and compared to the 4640 doing the same job, we're saving about $6 to $7 an hour on hauling wagons. And so if that carried through on fuel use, then you know, the John Deere, the 4640, you know, we're doing 300 hours a year. Well, you know, that's 1,800 bucks, except we're also doing 25 to 30% more work per hour because of the faster road speed, and then come planting because of the higher hydraulics. And so if you save 50 to 60 hours a year, then that's a lot of money saved per year. So, you know, 25 to 30% of its annual cost is already covered in true savings to my pocket. The reason we upgraded is we're adding more acres, and we're looking down the road. So the acres we have this year, we're not adding many acres this year, but someday, you know, we're going to add a lot of acres, and he's going to help us cover what we got better and faster, and do a better job, and hopefully make more money per acre. And so I originally started looking at 4960 John Deeres because the John Deere dishes I have in my cupboard say that's what I should do. But then I thought, well, I gain nothing. I'll go into debt and I'll gain nothing over the 4640 other than a little more pulling power on the planter and the wagons. But I've gained nothing of efficiency across the farm. And then I started thinking, well, 8400s, 8420s, 8520s are going, you know, 8520s and 30s. Some of them are going super cheap on auction. And I thought, well, I could get them, you know. But here, you know, as a John Deere guy, I'm going to say I got a better engine and transmission here than what John Deere's done lately. And parts and service, parts support. There's not a John Deere. Let's be honest. There's not a John Deere store in the state of Minnesota that's going to beat my local AGCO dealer for parts and service. Because I got 24-hour parts and service here. And if I'm planting at midnight and I need parts, well, if I call the store before 11:59, Rudy and the other guys will answer the phone and set parts out on will call, and I just go over and pick it up at 3 a.m. and put it in and keep going. And same on service, there's 24-hour numbers. So there's service and parts. I'm way better off with this color machine. But looking at them John Deere's, and then they only go 25 miles an hour and they're back to a power shift, which isn't a bad deal. You know, that's a good, John Deere did a good job copying the Magnum power shift when they designed that 16 speed. But here we're 33 miles an hour on the road empty, and when I'm loaded with the wagons, I just go 20. And so, and then the cab, you know, that little terminal is kind of small, but it's a powerful little terminal that can do a lot for us. It's isobus capable. There's a lot we can jack into that thing, but my ag leader will be doing a lot of the running of the implements and the steering someday. And but yeah, let's take a quick walk around. So in the cab, while he's warming up, let's take a tour of the cab. Pretty simple control layout. You got a dash. There's a few things you can do for settings up there, but you got park, you know, park, ready to drive, and then forward, reverse, and then while you're in each section, you can speed up and slow down, and then lift to pause. Our right hand console You got your cruise controls for cruise 1 and cruise 2 for transmission speeds, automatic engine to turn that on for so we don't touch the throttle in here. You just drive the tractor. It takes care of engine based on load. Switch from joystick to pedal mode for driving the transmission. PTO, just a menu controller. Typical outlets. 2 more outlets, so I got 5 outlets like we said. 1 and 2 aren't here, so like on the planter I can pull back and pull in to lift markers and lift planter, and right now I got these set for cruise 1 and cruise 2, these buttons. But if we had a loader on here, we could switch from rear hydraulics to running the planter to then we could run the loader and the grapple with this. And so a lot of usability. It's assignable. We can, if we come into the dash, so we can enter, that would be transmission functions, data management issues, headland stuff. So on a headland issue or feature, this button here, and I can assign it to these here as well. But we get to the headland, we can hit this button. So what I did with one guy on his manure spreader was when he hit this button, he pulls in with the field with the manure spreader, turns the PTO on, opens his end gate, opens the floor up, catches his guidance line, revs the engine up, and sets his cruise control speed. And when he got to the headland, he just flicked the controller that runs the floor. Everything else stays running. He makes his U-turn on the headland, touches this again. The floor is reactivated. When the manure spreader is empty, then he hit this button to end the function, and on end function, engine RPM came down, ground speed shot up to the high cruise speed, and everything on the manure spreader shut down, PTO and all hydraulic functions, and the gate shut. So that's kind of there. So like for planting, you know, you'd hit that button, it would lift your markers, and then you could have it paused for a specific amount of time, or you could hit the button again to then lift the planter, slow down, and maybe slow your cruise speed down, slow your engine down, and you make your headland turn, you hit it again, it drops your planter, drops your marker, maybe brings the engine up a little bit and brings your ground speed up and catches your guidance line. So that's their typical hydraulic settings page. Here's the settings page for this joystick. So, whoops, I entered into something wrong here. If we go to home page, right there would be my ISO bus. I entered into, that is for transmission data management. So our responsiveness for deceleration on our pedal, on our stick, how aggressive are we on our cruise controls, and them kind of settings. So there's the joystick, brings that in, so you can see there we can assign, so I got cruise 1 and 2. There's a whole list of things: speed steering, different hydraulics, headland management, and I want it on number 2. The other really super cool thing with these tractors, so then you got your instant readout, average readouts, efficiencies, some mapping, engine settings, steerable axle on the implement, and front hitch and dual control. Our European friends know more about dual control, so you can set up your front hitch and rear hitch and how they all work with a dual implement. And then some more points for more mapping stuff. Very usable. When we hook to the round baler, an icon will appear down here for round baler because it's an ISOBUS platform. So anything on ISOBUS we can plug right in and we should be good to go. I leave him on transmission. And you got your normal headlights, automatic and regular front axle, automatic and regular diff lock, front suspension, cab suspension to activate guidance and steering, defrost on the mirrors and windows, and then speed steer. We'll show speed steer in a minute, and then just your lights. PTO, pretty typical, you know, 3-point control stuff, the adjuster for the right hand mirror, speed steer adjust, cab suspension, we got the 3-point ride control, and then what a PTO, because we got all 3 PTOs, 540 and both 1000s, big and small. So it works, you know, you got your 3-point here and here. And then your T-handle. So you got high-low range on this button, and then your CVT here, and then your engine throttle. But we got a lot to go through, and because this is a very, very, very efficient to use tractor. And so she's warmed up. Let's idle out to the pasture and just see what it's like. Pull it out of park, give it a direction, and if we're in pedal mode, then I'll just touch the pedal and we start rolling. So let's get out to the pasture. So here's where this operating platform through Massey Ferguson is the funnest, and just a couple little features to just really drive this thing home. So we're going to turn on our speed steer and we're going to ramp it all the way up. So on the transmission, if we were doing loader work, we would be in pedal mode. We would take it out of park, we would put that stick forward, we stick the pedal, we just push on it, we drive into our bale, I lift, the tractor comes to a stop. It's on a very low, very mild aggressiveness right now, so there's a little more coast. We can adjust that to stop a lot more aggressive, but I take my foot off, I can do my loader function, and then we back away. Now watch how quick the steering is. So if our wagon was 90 degrees, we're already full lock. I flick forward, and in another turn, we're already full lock. And then we can also lift, and it will hold. I can do my loader function, but so we do our loader function, we back up, we hit the pedal again. Another one revolution, and we're already hard turn that way. How nice is that for loader work? Like, there is no other tractor on the market that is as efficient and feature friendly for doing loader work as this Massey. Let's go back to T-handle mode. So now we give it a direction. Now the foot throttle and the hand throttle run the engine. You hear that? Well, maybe you don't. So what we can do is, while we're in reverse, we can hold down and we will start moving. And if we lift, we will start slowing down. If we're in forward, same thing, you lift and forward, we start moving. If we're round baling, while we're round baling, when the bale is full, I just lift, it breaks to neutral and holds. The baler does its job, and when the baler is done, I let go and it resumes where it was. And so how convenient or nice on baling is that? You won't find it. And same thing with this steering on the headland. You come to the headland to turn with your baler, and a quarter turn this way, and then back around 3/4 of a turn that way. It gives us almost full steering, and for making our headlands. If we're in pedal mode, the other thing in pedal mode, if we're going down the road, the smoothest you're ever going to have is this throttle. So I give it a little bit of throttle, but the engine is staying the same, but the tractor's starting to creep. I give it a little more throttle, and we gain speed. If I pull it back, we come to a stop. It absolutely wonderful operating transmission and platform. And the fun part is other than PTO work, we never mess with the engine. We'll get some video footage on hauling wagons, but when we haul wagons at 33 miles an hour down the road, the engine RPMs are running around 1500. And when we're loaded and we're coming back, we are at 20 miles an hour at about 12 to 1300 RPM. Boop. Hit our 3-point. Can it lift a bale? Oh yeah, it lifted the bale. I think it's rated for like 20,000 pounds on the 3-point. So that 1,000-pound bale, don't even know it's back there. But But yeah, so that, you know, just the transmission features alone, nobody else has that on the market yet that's as good as this setup. And you can see through the years, the last 20 years, of how John Deere and Case have tried to make catch up, but whatever. If you just kind of touch the T-handle a little bit, you'll feel kind of a springiness to it, and it just creeps you up in miles per hour. You can just move a couple tenths at a time. If I hold it, she gets a little more aggressive. We'll keep her out of the ditch. And there we're at 33 miles an hour going down the gravel road with the bale on the back. And if we want to start slowing down, all I do is just start pulling back, and it starts decelerating. I can bump it like a power shift, and it keeps decelerating. I can just hold mild for just like a forever drift to slow down. With the front suspension and the cab suspension and nice rear rubber, this thing runs like a dream down the road. And so we'll drop this bale off and then grab a clover bale for the cows. Does the windshield wiper work? It does. It's kind of smeary. We still got to get that all-in-one set up. I'm going to grab some of the corn stalk bales and make just a big area of corn stalk, and then bring the set up panels for a corral and bring them out. So they've got a little bit of clover bale from the other day. I got to get lick tubs refilled. I get new lick tubs out here. But yeah, I'm bale grazing over in this spot because this was the blow sand area. Them little fatties, short little legged red heifer. I'm being a little bit wasteful over here because that's okay, because this spot was a no producer of crops. Like there's no soil over here. It's just beach sand. And so we'll just stop, neutral park. I'll go take the wrap off. I probably won't be using the tractor much in the winter time unless I can get a lot of you know, like a big hay moving day kind of deal, to where you can get the engine hot, because with the emission system I don't want to do anything there. It doesn't have a particulate filter. They run a little bit different emission system, and the rocks coming off the cab stuck to the tires. So it is a little bit nicer emission system than what some of the other colors are using, but still, I don't want to put a bunch of winter hours on the tractor. So yeah, well, another nice thing is the warning lights, and it's got rotary beacons up top. Whoops, I forgot a bale for the cows, or for the heifers. Oh, we'll just put it reverse. There's 10 in reverse. There's 16 in reverse. There's 20 in reverse. Yeah, I gotta grab a bale for the heifers. Yeah, I don't want to use it a whole lot this winter, only when I like have a lot of bales that I can move, then I'll use it, but otherwise we'll just use the 46 and the 44 for winter. We'll grab one of these here. We'll go over here. This is gorgeous alfalfa. Gorgeous. I gotta fix these holes out in this pasture. Click. 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 We'll go around this back road. Yeah, a miniature one of these with a loader would complement this big tractor. Awesome. If a guy could find a pre-emissions one, so you could just run it every day in the winter time. But whatever. There's our little rock pile. We emptied that out pretty good. Now we got to start refilling it.